Hi, my name is Ann Edenfield-Sweet. I'm the Executive Director and founder of Wings for Life International, and boy, do we have a program today. I am so excited, and it's going to be very interesting. We're just going to talk and kind of see what happens here. I got to know Ernesto because Ernesto came into our office to do some community service. And I found out that he was a former member of a gang. And so we're going to talk about gangs today. And we're going to find out about different gangs and gang life. And I want to be careful that, guys, if I ask you anything that is not going to be safe for you to talk about or you're not comfortable, just say, we can't talk about that. Because the goal of this talk will be, how are we going to help other people that perhaps might be interested in gang life? I want them to understand a little bit about it. How did you get in it? And then how do you get out of it? and talk about life. I know all three of you are in a federal halfway house right now.
Yeah.
So that means you've all been behind bars. And so we're going to just start with a little introduction and find out about each of you. So why don't you introduce yourselves to me? Tell me where you came from or your family life or whatever you are comfortable with sharing. Ernesto, we'll start with you.
My name is Ernesto Ortiz. I grew up in Southern California. I just recently turned 48, and I started getting in trouble when I was young, my early teens, in and out of trouble, using drugs. I hung around other dudes that are in a gang, kind of got affiliated with them, started selling drugs and stuff like that. It's not. I come from something of a little rare background. My parents, I don't come from a broken home. Parents have been married over 50 years. Got both of my parents still alive today. Matter of fact, they're here. And anyways, I have two wonderful siblings. I have my brother that actually I would like to pretty much dedicate this to, because he's been the one that has helped me through everything. You know, he's helped me start doing this kind of stuff. I have about 15, 20 years in and out of jail, from federal jail, state, and juvenile detention. I got stuck with the fast life, you know, making money, the women, the drugs, the guns, you know. I grew up in the early 80s and 90s when gang violence in California, Southern California, was at the height and peak, you know, where shooting was a regular thing, you know. You become pretty callous to it when it just happens so much, you know. People, you know, gunfires going off, shots getting fired, or, you know, fighting, this and that. Like I said, I come from a crazy, unique situation. I have family that are very supportive.
So family that loves you.
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. That's one thing that's probably made me dig my way out of this hole, you know. I've the different struggles I've had is like institutions, you know, like we being convicted felons, we have to strive and jump over hurdles more so than somebody that doesn't have a record. You know, any of you youngsters or any of these kids that are there with an unblemished record are looking at, they got everything in front of them. Where with us, we should be already retiring by now, or we're barely starting the workforce. You know, we have a lot of challenges against us, but luckily Ann in this organization has opened these doors for us, and hopefully we can do some things. You know, we just joined the Wings gang, I guess.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Wings gang here in just a little bit.
Anyways, I'll let Johnny go.
Okay, Johnny, tell us about yourself.
My name is Johnny Hernandez. I was born and raised in Roswell, New Mexico. I have 3 beautiful daughters. I've done 18 years in state prison, 41 months in the federal system. I've I've been on the street selling drugs since '84. I sort of dedicated my life to it, and I've lost everything to it. But my daughters, they've been very, have faith in me that I would change one day. And if you would ask me if I would regret anything, I always have to say no, because it brought me to this chair and I met you. And now I could help other people. I lost a son to drugs. Like, he followed my footsteps, when I was telling you. He was 24, and they murdered him when he was only 8 months into his thing, and I carried that burden, you know. So, like, I want to dedicate the rest of my life to him.
And that's a beautiful thing, Johnny. Yeah. And helping so no one else gets into that lifestyle and gets shot and, killed. You guys are still here, so you could still help other people, but just think of how many people maybe have lost their lives because of gang life.
That's my goal, is to, and it's crazy because the last couple of times I've been in the county, I gave myself to God one time, you know what I mean? Like, I was doing the workout, I dedicated my body to Him, I wasn't watching TV, I wasn't cursing, and then that's the time when I lost my son, and like the pastor was saying earlier, like, a lot of times I feel the devil just pulling on me, you know, like telling me to do things and just being like my old self, you know what I mean? Like, I've been a loyal servant to Him for like 40 years. And this is going to be a very big change in my life. And my daughters, and I have 6 grandkids, and they're so happy that I'm changing my life, and they see it in me. And I have my mother, I haven't seen her since I got out of prison, and she's happy that I'm doing this, you know. I don't even talk to anybody from my past, nobody from Roswell. I'm going forward, and for Ernesto, man, he's really helped me, like, you know what I mean? Like, he not made me, but we got the job, you know what I mean? We work. I put all my energy that I had in the streets, I put it in my work. And
Good.
I'm so happy. I haven't had a paycheck since in the 90s, you know? And I'm happy. I'm very content with life now. And I give it up to God, you know? I pray, but it's just like the thing with my son, you know what I mean? It's a big thing for me, and it's a very emotional thing. And but I want to thank you, Ann, for having me. And,
Absolutely. We're glad you're here.
I do appreciate it.
So we're going to try to help you with all of those things. Jorge, tell us a little bit about your life, whatever you want to share.
My name is Jorge Leon. I'm from Southern California, born and raised there. And I got introduced to gang life through all my cousins, because they're all in different parts of the city, you know what I mean? So I hang around with them, like, like, I got affiliated and then ranked in. I had to do what I had to do to get in, and been in a downfall since, you know what I mean? But when you're young, you think it's cool, and it really isn't. It ends up back over here, locked up, lonely, family starts disappearing, you know. But I spent all my 30s, my late 20s, locked up in the state federal prison now. So I think I'm ready to change now. I got me a little girl out there, a little 13-year-old, Alicia, and I need to stay out here for her, and make sure she's all right. I'm just tired of all the things, it ain't what it is, what everybody says it is, being in a gang. It's not worth it, I can tell you right now. It's cool when you're young and stuff, but when you get older, you'll feel it. And like I said, or like Ernie said, we're barely starting our careers now as far as working,
But it's okay. It's okay. You're starting now. There are a lot of people that maybe they've been alcoholics their whole life.
Yeah.
And now they're 70 years old and they say, oh my gosh, I've wasted my whole life.
Yeah.
You've got the rest of your life in front of you guys.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so Was it school environment? What was the environment that was created that was so enticing for you to get into? Because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to help kids. So like kids are in a classroom and they hear this program and they think, wow, talk about, okay, you talked about the fast life, the women, the cars, the drugs, probably a lot of money and flashy life. But all of you have said it wasn't worth it. And now you're just starting all over again. So what was it that intrigued you? And what would you want to tell the kids that are listening today that, boy, they hear, hey, this sounds really exciting, but it's really not? So what do you wish somebody had told you when you were back in school? And at what ages did you get involved in gangs? Because I know the the ages are going down now too. People are getting involved much earlier.
Myself, I could say I had a real problem with like comprehension, so school was hard for me. Studying and stuff like that was a challenge. So, like, it was difficult. So instead of studying and doing what I should have, and I mean nowadays they have a lot of different techniques that will help you.
If you
know
got
what I mean?
dyslexia or
exactly.
some of the problems, yes, and they identify those things early.
Yeah, and I got into a bad accident when I was younger, and I had a real bad comprehension problem. So, like, comprehension was a struggle for me, And so instead of like studying or whatever, I would go off and do anything else. You know what I mean? I played sports. I did this and that, but my early teens, I started ditching school and getting high and this and that. But I wish if I could tell the kids now. I mean, education is everything. Education, you know what I mean? Get your education, you know what I mean? You can get all these tattoos, you can pay for them. You don't need to go to prison to get them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have some nice, cool tattoos, but you know what I mean? You can pay for them. But like, education's everything. My brother, my sister instilled that in my head, especially my brother. He's so for education, and you know what I mean? And he instilled I went to prison when my son was in junior high, and my son and my brother and my mom, my parents, they helped raise my son, and I got out when he graduated high school. But my brother instilled good work ethics into him, you know what I mean? Study habits that today he's a wonderful young man. He's a good man. But I had no doing
So
that,
gangs very early teens.
Yeah, early teens and just.
And so if somebody is at home listening or in school and you're struggling in school, turn to somebody.
Ask for help.
Ask for
Definitely
help.
have to.
Ask for
Okay, I'm hearing an affirmative. Ask for help.
Definitely.
Okay. So did any of you guys have any trouble in school?
Well, when it started with me, like, I lost my father when I was 10. He died in mine and my brother's arms.
Oh dear.
So I was very rebellious. Like Ernest, I played football, played basketball. My brother played basketball. He was all state. I just veered off and went with the other crowd. I wish that I wouldn't have, because I love school. You know what I mean? I like getting dressed. You know what I mean? Creasing your thing. You know what I mean? Like getting dressed, putting on your Stacey Adams and whatnot. You know what I mean? I really dig that. But when I steered away from it, I got married at 17, and I had my son. And I encouraged, my son had a scholarship, my daughters, they're school teachers, I encourage anybody that I talk to, even at the halfway house, like the youngsters, like, go to school. I mean, you have so much in front of you. You know what I mean? Like,
So do not drop out of school.
no, definitely don't.
Do not drop out of school, because what's the answer after you drop out of school?
I got into a gang in my teens, and in Roswell, and in prison I was in the gang. it's like learning. It's not what it seems like. You know what I mean? Like when you go to prison, you don't get letters from your homies. You don't get letters from anybody. You're alone. You know what I mean? But I encourage everybody just to stay in school. I wish I would have had one of my uncles come and take a belt to me, you know what I mean? Like tell me, hey, do this, but they didn't, you know what I mean? My father passed away.
They probably felt sorry for you because you lost your dad, but you wish somebody had stepped up.
I wish they would have. I mean, maybe it would have changed something in me, you know, because I was a good kid. I mean, it's just the loss of my dad and the drugs, the weed, and stuff like that. I was so discouraged, and then I have problems reading and spelling, you know. So it's like when I play sports, the coach would go to the teachers and let them pass me, you know, just so I could play. You know, I kind of wish that I would have went to a special program. You know what I mean? It would have helped me more.
And there are special programs today.
Yeah.
So again, if you're listening and you're struggling with something, there are people there that can help. And I know there are teachers, that's their job, is to help you. And if that teacher isn't helping you, then you go to somebody else and find somebody that's going to help you. And I know with Wings, we have so many volunteers. We could find a tutor for you. We could find a tutor for you guys right now if you wanted. You know, if you don't have do you have your GEDs?
Yes.
No.
Okay, you have a GED, you do, but you don't.
No.
Well, we can help you with
I
that.
would probably I would try that, yeah.
Yeah,
It would be nice.
yeah, we
Because
could do that.
My daughters would be so happy. Actually, my middle daughter, she's a special ed teacher in the high school in Roswell.
Yeah, we'll help you get that education. How exciting. Okay, that's on the list to do. Jorge, how about you?
I think I started when I was like 14. I got ranked in when I was 14. Just like I said, being around my cousins, my family, and his homies and all their homies. And like I said, it's addictive seeing them buy whatever they want from the stores and getting high and stuff. And back then it was cool to do that. But all reality, I'm burnt nowadays. It's like all them drugs and all that stuff. It's not even worth it. It's like I hate it. Like I can't remember nothing. I can't think. Like right now, I'm barely even talking. Because I have a hard time talking out loud.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, you're doing,
You really are.
You're doing good, my boy.
And we can help you with that. And again, at Wings, we practice those skills because it's a practice. In prison, you probably don't sit around and talk like this. I don't think you probably do.
Oh, we do.
You do?
That's all we do in the cell.
Okay, so you do sit around and talk. Okay. Oh, well, that's
called
good
politics.
to know. Okay. All right, well,
Everything.
okay, so you do. Okay,
Yeah,
so do
so-
you help each other? So, okay, well, let's go to prison life. Because, okay, we did a family day. I'll have to show you guys the picture. Las Cruces, 3 different gang groups came together, and the criteria was that they had to have children. So that's the only reason that they could come. They couldn't bring brothers or dads that might be gang, or cousins that might be gang members, but they could bring their children. And what was so wonderful is of course, the prison staff, they were very nervous. They thought everybody would kill each other. And of course not. They were dads. They were grandfathers. They were there, and it was so beautiful to watch. So talk about gang life. All of you, I assume, are in different gangs, or were in different gangs?
Him and I are the same.
You
We're
were,
the same.
okay, did you know each other?
Just really man.
You just met here, but you were in the
Yeah.
Sereno gang in
Yeah.
California. And you were in a different gang.
Yes, Crazy Town Roswell, CTR.
CTR,
Yes, sir.
Crazy Town Roswell.
Yes,
Wow. Well, I understand there are over 28,000 gangs around the United States. So towns have their own gangs. So how does it work? You're in a halfway house now, and you're different gangs. Now, in prisons, they'd be worried sick that you'd be killing each other. So how does that work in a halfway house? And how do you guys come to grips with all of this?
It's crazy because another gentleman that was supposed to be here, his name is Philip Edmond. He was an African American, and he's one of my good buddies. We're all good friends, And we'll sit in, we'll chop it up, we'll eat together, and that right there is a big no-no in prison, you know? You can't do that, you know?
Eat with other gang
With,
members?
no, with
Another race.
another race.
Another race.
Another race.
Oh, even another race?
It's not.
Yes.
Race,
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's very segregated, you know what I mean? And it's not the institutional that's doing that, it's our
It's your
own-
culture?
Yeah.
You're creating that culture?
Well, it's the politics.
That's what it
It's the
comes from.
politics. That's what comes down to it. It's what it's the unsaid rules that we as our own organization gives, or our own clique give each other. You know, there's certain bylaws that we need to live by and go by. Like us being sureños, we're mandatory workout 5 days a week. We have a mandatory workout. We have to be up by 5 o'clock every morning, suited and booted, and out at the tables. There's no sleeping in, and
No, this is prison life.
it's
Yes,
prison
prison.
life.
Okay, because I was saying,
No,
home,
no,
I don't
no,
think
no,
you're up
no,
at 5 in
no,
the morning. and-
Well, right now at the halfway house,
Yeah.
we're at
30.
but like you know, in a halfway house, it's like we're friends. You know what I mean? We're friends. The politics are gone. You know, and earlier you were saying about, you know, we never really denounced that we're not in gangs. We're non-active gang members, and that's the difference. You know, like somebody that denounced would be somebody that would be considered like debriefing, or
Yeah.
they're telling about the organization. But like with us, it's okay for us to be non-active as us. I mean, I know I
we
can
already
speak for
did
us.
our time for
Yeah,
it, so
us
let
Sureños,
the-
we can be, you know, if we've done our time and we've done everything, we left on good terms, we can be non-active. We can go around our neighborhoods, we can go around our homies, we can go back and we can talk to them, and they're gonna listen to us, you know? And they're not gonna pressure us like, oh, hey, they're not gonna pressure us to get into it, you know? We might be offered, you know, this or that, you know, drugs, or offered to do this and that. And that's our choice as men, to say no, you know? And we're not
Part of the
gonna.
Wings gang now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be your excuse.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I'm part of another gang, the Wings gang.
Yeah, and we won't get looked down on or frowned on, you know? Matter of fact, my homies, or even my primos or anything, they encourage me to do better, you know? I know when I was in the USP, there was a couple older veteranos, and they would tell me, hey, get out there. We need more good homies out there. Stay out there, you know? And they'd encourage us to do that. But then again, there's some that, hey, they don't care, you know what I mean? They would use you as a crash dummy, you know? They
Crash dummy.
like,
like saying you go do a job where it's going to get you locked up more time or something.
Oh, okay.
yeah, they don't care about your safety or your well-being.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him as a fellow Sereno that you're gonna be
he knows-
okay
he knows
going
that-
home
yeah,
and not
he's
getting
saying
involved?
everything what it is, you mean? And I could walk with my head up high anywhere, you mean? Like you said, we done our time in that gang life where we're not active no more. And the other youngsters earn their name and their spot, you mean?
Well, we don't want them to earn any name
I
or
mean,
spot.
but
But-
that's just like what it is, you mean?
Yeah.
But like us talking now, maybe it could, I mean, like,
Maybe it'll
like,
enable
change your
them to
mind, you
start
mean?
thinking about,
yeah, 'cause
yeah.
there's a lot of homies doing a lot of time, I mean, locked up, like 2 life sentences and whatever, I mean, and it's like 20 years, like that's not a little.
Well, you talked about, you had a picture of yourself with 8 guys, and 4 of them are never getting out of prison. They had life sentences.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like decades on decades, you know?
yeah. Now, Johnny, how about you? Are you feeling that you're gonna be safe when you get out of the halfway house? I mean, I don't think you're going back to Roswell.
No, I'm definitely not going back to Roswell, but like the Nuevo, like we're almost the same. We politic almost the same as the Sureños, you know. As far as like when you go to the feds, like the homies, like, we want you to do your time and we want you to go home. You know what I mean? But like being in the halfway house, like the homie said, it's like with the different race. Like, I'm so institutionalized. It took me a while just to get in there and not be like be politicking in there, you know, and like you don't take food from nobody, you don't eat from you like nothing. Like, you can't, only if you're doing like, I don't know, like a deal or something, you know what I mean? But you don't interact with nobody. You don't eat with them. You don't sit at their table. Everybody has their own tables. But as far as me being non-active, it's, man, my homies, they always told me, you know what I mean, go home, you know what I mean, leave this for the young kids, you know what I mean? But it's hard for me to do that because I've been in it for so long that I want to go out there and be in the front lines, you know what I mean? But I just got to, you know what I mean, hanging around with the homie here, it's like, it's slowed me down a lot because he speaks like good words. I mean, like, he encourages me, man, and you know what I mean? And I need that in my life because, like, I mean, I'm down for whatever, even at 55. But now, I've already put my foot down. The homies are good with me. The only thing is, if I go back to Roswell, I know that I'll get back into the same thing. I
You
just
can't
know I
now.
will.
You've
No,
made a
no,
promise.
no, and I won't. You know what I mean? Like, my daughters, they said they will bring the grandkids to see me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I mean, I retired a good dude, a stand-up guy, a veterano. You know what I mean?
So you can leave the life behind you. You can encourage other people,
That's right.
and you're not fearful for your own lives that somebody might come after you.
Well, like, the only thing that maybe like, if I go back, maybe it's somebody that I hurt. Maybe somebody I did something to. That's the only thing that scares me, sort of. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Someone might, oh, that's that guy that did this to my cousin or did something. You know what I mean? Because vengeance is something. You know what I mean? And
Well, we're just going to have to pray that we put the right people around you. You have to keep continuing to encourage one another, because that's it right off the bat, the people that you're immediately around. But now you've got a Wings family,
yes, ma'am.
and we're going to be here till I drop dead. And then we got a whole bunch of other people coming along, and so, folks, we're going to call this the end of part one, but we are going to continue this. But you know, I always close with a story, and this story is very special because it was written by Mike Silskar, who is one of our staff members and also does the sound for us for all of these programs. And it was dedicated to our webmaster, Soraya Abdallah, who has breast cancer and has really been struggling with that. And it's called, and I was trying to find a story that I thought might work for you guys. And so it's a gift to be given, and that gift is hope. So let's read about hope. Hope is something that you could see but can't be grasped by the hand. It can't be purchased or sold, but only given as a gift to someone who is willing to receive it. It can overcome mental, physical, and emotional blockades set in its path to a degree that the mind can't fathom its resolve. When nurtured with love, it can't be crushed, pierced, bent, or broken. Hope remains unyielding to the task set before it and does not dwell on the past. Hope believes all things are possible and obtainable, unwavering in its pursuit. Hope is a gift, and when received, is as cherished as life itself.
Beautiful.
So Mike wrote that to a very special person, and it works for all of us, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So the newest starting members of our Wings team, I want to give you hope. So thanks for being with us here tonight. We are going to have part two, so you're going to want to join us and hear part two, hearing about gang life and what is so important about being aware of how you could get trapped into this situation, but also the hope that you could get out of it. So thanks for being with us tonight. Hope to see you for part 2.